Part 2, Chapter 1 of Canada's 100 Days with the Canadian Corps from Amiens to Mons, August 8th through November 11th, 1918. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Mike Venditti, Canyon City, Colorado. MikeVenditti.com. Canada's 100 Days by John Livesay. Part 2, Chapter 1. Planning Attack on Hindenburg Line. We have seen that Canadian Corps Headquarters moved from Amiens to Hautecloque on the morning of August 22nd. Its stay here was of the briefest, the move being made early next morning to Noyelles-Vion, and the interest of Hautecloque in the annals of the Corps lies solely in the fact that here the plan of battle on the Arras front was prepared. Great as had been the moral effect of the successful Amiens offensive, followed up immediately by the attack of the Third Army between Albert and Arras, what was to follow was designed to be much more far-reaching in its effect, namely, the breaking of the Hindenburg Line and the driving of the enemy on territory he had occupied uninterruptedly since 1914. Sir Douglas Haig thus explains the design. As soon as the progress of the Third Army had forced the enemy to fall back from the Mercatel spur, thereby giving us a secure southern flank for an assault upon the German positions on Orange Hill and about Monchy-le-Preux, the moment arrived for the First Army to extend the front of our attack to the north, using the river Sensee to cover their left. In the same way the river Somme had been used to cover the left of the Fourth Army in the Battle of Amiens. The right of the First Army attacked east of Arras, and by turning from the north the western extremity of the Hindenburg Line compelled the enemy to undertake a further retreat. It was calculated correctly that this gradual extension of our front of attack would mislead the enemy as to where the main blow would fall, and would cause him to throw in his reserves piecemeal. As we shall see, the entire operation was entrusted to the Canadian Corps, strengthened at times by the addition of British divisions. The recommendation of the Canadian Corps commander, made after the successful initial operations of the Battle of Amiens, namely, that those operations should be slackened to give time to organize a set-piece attack on a broad front in a surprise attack elsewhere, had therefore borne its full fruit. In this connection it is interesting to follow Sir Arthur Currie's observations upon the general situation at this date. In sympathy with the severe reverses suffered on the Marne, he says, and consequent upon the action now fully developed in the Somme salient, signs were not wanting that the enemy was preparing to evacuate the salient of the Livesay. This evacuation began under pressure of the First Army on August 25th. All these attacks and results, direct or indirect, enabled the Allies to recover the ground they had lost in the course of the German offensive operations of the spring and summer. The recapture of the ground was, however, of secondary importance as compared to the moral results of these successive victories. The German armies had been impressed in the course of these operations by the superiority of our generalship and our organization, and by the great determination of our troops and subordinate commanders. The Hindenburg system, however, was intact, and the enemy higher command hoped and believed that behind this powerfully organized area the German armies might be collected and reorganized. Fighting the most determined rearguard action in the Somme salient, they expected that our armies would be tired and depleted by the time they reached the forward area of the Hindenburg system. The Battle of Cambrai, now about to begin, shattered their hopes by breaking through the Dortchen line itself, but a part of the Hindenburg system. The Canadian Corps carried the operations forward to ground that had been in the hands of the Germans since 1914. This advance constituted a direct threat on the rear of the German armies, north and south of Cambrai. Dominated at all times, paralyzed by the swift end of old strokes on vital points,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?